Videos like these are made possible by viewers like you, who support the channel through Patreon, channel memberships, and stream donations. And don't forget to check out the Bad Weapon Rehabilitation servers at www.badweaponrehab.tf. Check the links in the description for more information, and let's get into the video. Here in the Mojave Wasteland, grass grows, sun shines, birds fly, and brother, I hunt down that son of a bitch who shot me in the head. It's time to find out. Can I beat Fallout New Vegas as the scout from TF2? I read through a lot of comments in the last video, and it seemed like Heavy was a very popular choice. So I didn't listen. I felt like playing Scout instead. Anyway, since we are playing Scout here, let's try to get through the rules quickly. For my primary weapons, I'm only allowed to use double-barreled and lever-action shotguns. These are fairly short in supply, with only the Caravan, Sawed-Off, and the lone lever-action shotguns available to me. Of course, I also have a wide variety of pistols at my disposal. While the Spy can only use the revolvers, the Scout can use any clip-based pistol. So 9mm, 10mm, 12.7mm, 45 auto, and the Silence 22. As well as their unique variants, which I will definitely be getting some use out of. And lastly, for melee weapons, we have the Scout's iconic baseball bat, and the cleaver. I know in TF2 the cleaver is a secondary throwing weapon, and that tempted me to include something like the throwing knives or tomahawk as an option, but appearance in relation to existing TF2 weapons matters far more than functionality. That's why I didn't use the shish kebab as a sharpened volcano fragment for pyro. As for my objectives, well, Scout, as we all know, is a soda junkie. He has to be, considering he can drink as much Bonk Atomic Punch as he does and not die. So I am required to complete the Legend of the Star quest, as well as my required GRA challenges. I once again have to cripple 5 right arms with shotguns, which is by far the easiest challenge in the game, kill 5 Legionnaire NZR assassins with my lever action shotgun, something that may prove difficult considering the lever action shotgun is restricted to 20 gauge rounds, which are the weakest shotgun rounds in the game. I have to follow in my father's footsteps and assassinate the president with a pistol. I have to kill 20 fiends with either a sawed-off shotgun or a baseball bat. And not only do I have to kill 15 feral ghouls with Benny's pistol Maria, but I also have to kill Benny himself with his own pistol. And it's also the return of Deathclaw Pro Hunter, where now I have to kill 5 Deathclaws with a 22 silenced pistol. I think that's a good set of challenges to overcome. That definitely makes this pretty interesting compared to Pyro. So let's get started. Welcome to New Vegas, Jeremy Scoutman. I do my best in the character creator, and now it's time for everyone's favorite, stat distribution.
Take it slow now. It ain't a race.
That's what you think, old man! This was surprisingly difficult because Scout is kind of garbage at a lot of stuff, despite being such a powerful class in-game, and also God's chosen vessel on Earth. He has garbage melee damage, so low strength. He's tied for the lowest health in the game, so low endurance. He's basically illiterate, so low intelligence. And while agility is an easy 10, I was kind of left with no choice but to dump everything else into perception, charisma, and especially luck. He's at least decent with the ladies, with Miss Pauling being the biggest exception, so I figure he's got fair charisma, and I guess with how trash his other stats are, it's lucky he's managed to survive this long at all, so that works for me. For my tag skills, I take guns, melee, and lockpick. Lockpick is an odd one for sure, but I have my reasons for it. Mainly because I thought here in Sloan there was an average lock that had an early game lever action shotgun in it, but I'll soon find out I was wrong. If I were doing this again, I probably would have gone for survival to not only increase the effectiveness of my sodas, but also to get some beneficial perks that I'll end up getting way later than I should. But we'll get there. And for traits, I pick Fast Shot, obviously, it's got fast in the name there, and Built to Destroy. I plan on doing small frame, but my agility is too high for me to pick it. I didn't want to change that either because that just meant more stats I would have to dump into perception and charisma. Now it's time to start the game. Luckily, even though I'm dropping everything from the DLC packs, I tried disabling them in NVSE. That didn't do anything and I don't know why. The game starts you out with a 9mm pistol if you choose guns as a tag skill, so I'm already set with a weapon. And even if I wasn't, any kind of pistol isn't exactly hard to find around here, so I'm able to do the tutorial no problem. In fact, being the scout that I am, I run as far ahead of Sunny as I can and kill the geckos before she even makes it there. Before wrapping up the tutorial, I head over to Sloan to check for that lever action shotgun I thought was there, only to find it's actually a sawed-off shotgun instead. It's pretty low durability, and 12-gauge rounds are hard to come by at this point in the game, but it'll have to do. I steal everything in Sloan as retribution for not having my scattergun there, wrap up the tutorial, and decide to defend Goodsprings from the powder gangers, as it's my understanding that chicks dig it when you save their town, especially when you get the blood of your enemies all over their face. I actually managed to smooth talk my way into getting everyone to help me out, and after getting my posse together, we wipe up the powder gangers, and I get a couple of new weapons in the form of the baseball bat and the cleaver. Unfortunately, the Sandman guillotine combo doesn't work in this game either. More importantly though, I get a baseball cap, so one half of my scout cosplay is already complete. I'll end up finding a t-shirt later on somewhere, I don't even remember where really. I root around a bit for some nearby star caps, and start my journey towards Prim, picking up a new 10mm pistol that I immediately test out on this fine gentleman. Once I make it to Prim, as always, I clear out the convicts holed up in the hotel. As it turns out, the cleaver is really not very good at all, since I hack away at these guys for ages before they finally go down. I know my crappy strength is partly to blame for that, but it says bonus limb damage. I gotta be hitting at least some of their limbs. Anyway, once that's done, I try to make Prim Slim the sheriff, but it turns out I'm one part short. I thought I got all that I needed. That's okay. I know exactly where to go to get some supplies. Nothing bad ever happens in the Divide. Now I'm not just here to grab this single conductor from off the ground. I'm also here because the Divide is a fantastic source of early game caps and 12-gauge rounds thanks to the valuable loot and commissaries all over the place, and I'm definitely going to be wanting those. However, upon running into my first sentry bot and seeing just how long it takes to kill this thing, I begin to realize that just maybe this scout is as vulnerable to sentries as the real scout in TF2, and I might be in a bit over my head here. But I decide the smart thing to do is keep pushing my luck and seeing where that gets me. And then the second one I run into almost kills me with its very last breath. Whew, good thing I don't have to deal with any more of those. Oh god, how many is that? All I see is the light of God, all I hear are explosions, I am scared, I am frightened, please God save me. Let me tell you, this was the fight of my life. I spent about 11 minutes constantly ducking behind cover and pelting these tanky ass robots with just nothing but the measly pistol ammo that I had on my person. Eddie went down basically instantly. He was no help at all. I went through basically all of my healing supplies during this onslaught, trying my absolute hardest to get any angle on these bastards that didn't result in me taking a missile to the face. Easier said than done. Well, it took a damn long time, but I eventually managed to destroy all the sentry bots and make my way further into the Divide, continuing to press my luck and somehow thinking the worst was behind me. Clearly the 2 intelligence I gave to Scout is rubbing off on me. So Ulysses jabbers on and I get the Shotgun Surgeon perk. Really would have appreciated being able to punch through a bit of damage threshold about 2 minutes ago. The first marked man I run into is basically a non-threat since he only has a flare gun, and then the second one I run into kills me in 2 shots. I keep going after this. Oh yeah, sniper's supposed to be weak at close range. Fucking bullshit class. The next few guys aren't that bad, and this gives me the false confidence I need to continue on because I know the Red Glare rocket launcher is coming up, and that's worth a lot of caps. Problem: I have to get past the guy currently holding the Red Glare rocket launcher. Rushing this area as Soldier is going to be so fun. Anyway, I managed to get him and his expensive ass loot, but it's the following onslaught that really reminds me of what a bad idea this was. I have basically no ammo for my sawed-off shotgun, and these guys are absolute bastards. I already want to go back to the sentry bots because those at least have a hard time maneuvering. Even if I manage to kill the guys who rush me with what little ammo I have, that still leaves me counter-sniping these guys with nothing but my pistols. Early game hunting shotgun though, I'll have to remember that. However, through a long and tedious process of doing every single drug known to man, poking my head out to get some shots in, and keeping the rifle that instantly cripples whatever part of my fragile little body it hits out of their goddamn hands, I'm able to finally whittle them down and level up. Christ, but it was all worth it. I take all the crap that they tried to kill me with, sell it to the commissary, and make out like a bandit. And now I'm never coming back here. Goodbye, Divide. I won't miss you. Thank you for the conductor. Now Prim has a sheriff. Oh yeah, that's why I went in there. Anyway, Malcolm graciously donated some of his star caps to me, and being the scout, I'm not one for taking the long way to get to my destination. I'm taking the fast way. So heading back to Sloan, I sprint my way through Black Mountain, past the super mutants, and even though it's a close call, I managed to make it to the outskirts of Vegas in no time. I'm on the hunt for more of my weapons. In particular, I know a lever-action shotgun can be found in West Side, and I have some 20 gauge ammo that's screaming to be used right now. Thankfully, the gun runners are selling a mint condition caravan shotgun that'll do the job just fine. Now I don't have to worry about running out of 12 gauge ammo too fast. I do a lot of exploring around Vegas because I honestly kind of forgot where West Side is. As it turns out, it's on the west side. I end up heading through Fiend territory on my way there and figure now's as good a time as any to assassinate the 3 Goober Fiends. And this turns out to be a great idea actually, because look what I find on one of Cook Cook's buddies. A lever action shotgun. And then I used it to kill Cook Cook. Fuck. And then I used it to kill Cook Cook. Finally. My new shotgun is still in pretty bad condition, so I still end up going to West Side to buy a new one and get it repaired. And now with a solid selection of weapons to choose from, it's time to get one of my mainstays. We're heading into Honest Hearts. I'm dead serious in that half the reason I even wanted to do Scout next is because I was looking forward to getting some use out of Joshua Graham's 45 auto pistol. It's an utterly insane weapon, and I know Honest Hearts pretty well by now, so it's not too much of a detour to get such a powerful tool in my arsenal. I managed to get through the whole DLC in about 2 hours. The level scaling thanks to my low level actually made it a lot easier than I was expecting. Anyway, we all get ambushed. I'm forced to watch Lee from The Walking Dead die in front of me again. I piss off a giant bear, which is not the first time Scout has done this in canon, and I meet the funny bandage boy. And even though I know I'm going to get his gun at the end of this DLC, I still buy a gun from him here that's sure to come in handy. I'm going to be glossing over a lot of Honest Hearts here. Not that I dislike the DLC or anything, I'd actually rank it fairly highly. I just think the actual quests in it aren't very interesting. The fetch quests aren't great. I especially find it amusing how if you don't have the proper materials or skills to fix the item you're looking for, the game just gives it to you like 5 inches away from where you found it in the first place. It's like, why even bother at that point? Quest design of the DLCs is always kind of a mixed bag. It's either extremely linear like Lonesome Road and Dead Money, or else a bit dull like here in Honest Hearts, or incredibly repetitive like in Old World Blues. Anyway, this isn't a DLC review, it's a challenge run, and the White Legs do put up a fight, especially the ones with their submachine guns. The big dark horse threat here is the giant Zion Mantids. Those things freaking hurt. That's almost all of my health in one hit. Every single playthrough the bugs come to scare the hell out of me, and not the kind of bugs that New Vegas is usually associated with. At least I finished my first challenge by killing these bastards, even if it is the easiest one. After grabbing the compass, I managed to get one of my favorite perks in New Vegas, and stay back. Now, basically all of my shotguns will act as a force of nature, so this will be fun. I do my best to show the White Legs the power of my newly upgraded shotguns, and eventually after a couple more busy work quests, it's time to make the choice to fight for Zion or flee from it. And yeah, I choose to fight, because obviously, everyone picks this one because why wouldn't you want to side with Joshua Graham? Besides, I will never turn up a chance at a genocide. I don't know why the game is all preachy about it. I mean, I get why, because executing unarmed people on their knees is bad or whatever. But like half the quests you gave me just involved wiping out scores of White Legs anyway, so what the hell, game? Anyway, that's Honest Hearts done with. And now we get our prize. A light shining in darkness. But was it worth it all? All the slaughter? All the bloodshed? Just for a shiny new gun to play with? Hell yeah it was, no regrets for me. Once I'm out of Zion, I decide to test out my new gun on some Vipers as I head towards Novak, and they fold like a sack of bananas. I'm going to enjoy this. In Novak, I say hi to Victor, and make sure to pick up a GRA baseball bat and upgrade it from a Sandman into a Boston Basher. At least I won't hit myself if I miss a swing. And since I'm in the area, I also get the unique sawed-off shotgun, the Big Boomer, don't ask me how I got it, and I also get the unique Cleaver Chopper. It takes up like a third of my screen and still doesn't do all that much damage, so I won't be using it that often, but I felt like I might as well grab it. Now that I had just about my entire arsenal ready to go, I decided it was time to start working on my challenges. I head into Fiend territory and start going to town on them with my sawed-off and baseball bat. It felt necessary to get at least a few bonks in there, even if my melee still isn't all that great. Since I need to get 20 kills like this, I figured the fastest way to do so is by heading inside of Vault 3 and killing everyone inside like the bloodthirsty murder hobo I am. Turns out the fiends are much more experienced in this regard though, and it's clear I need to rethink my approach. As it turns out, my really cool gun turns out to be the superior solution, and clearing out this room alone is enough to earn me my next challenge. Doesn't stop me from slaughtering everyone else in the vault though, just to be safe. I do a few quests in Freeside while I'm in the area. I think it's going to be pretty simple, but my low intelligence is really bad for getting these guys off of drugs, and I'm going to need to find a lot of fixers somehow. Cheapskates and whores are easy enough to find though. Sometimes both of them are in the same place at the same time. And after I'm done putting these guys behind this dumpster, because they were so interested in it for some reason, I'm sent onto the strip to go take care of a loose end, and decide I'll be taking care of my own loose end while I'm here. Not only is it time to deal with Benny, I have to take him out with his own gun. Going in guns blazing is not really an option. I can't kill Benny right out of the gate, but even a non-fatal attempt on his life will alert his gooners. Now is as good a time as any to get bashing. It doesn't go quite as planned, but close enough. Benny is now alone, and his aim's improved, I'll give him that much. But the next attempt goes better. I shoot the gun out of his hands and pick it up before he can reach it. And then I gun him down with his own gun inside of his own casino. If Scout were smart enough to know the word, I think he'd call that pretty cathartic. After dealing with that, Volpe shows up, and I blow his brains out of the back of his skull for speaking to me. I figure this is the easiest way to get Legion assassins on me as quickly as possible so I can complete yet another challenge. Why did I do that? I go back to some early game areas to find some star caps I know I missed, and wind up fighting some ghouls that I need to gun down with Maria anyway, so, you know, bonus. You've got to know your shit at long range when your best long range option is a 9mm pistol. Speaking of star caps, thanks for all of yours, Thomas. I appreciate this generous donation. After clearing out Nipton of all the legionaries there, I make my way towards an area I know some feral ghouls are congregating, and oh, look at that, right on schedule. Though they're making me regret pissing off the Legion. If I didn't have to shoot President Kimball later, I'd have pissed off the NCR assassins. These guys kick my ass. And this is with a bunch of perks that jack up my damage on top of stun locking them. I make it out alive with 4 out of 5 kills to my name, but with so much of the playthrough left, I'm really not looking forward to seeing even more of these guys with even better gear down the line. Or literally 2 minutes later, what the fuck? I mean, I guess these guys weren't as bad, and that's another challenge down, so that's something. Only about 7 more hours of dealing with these guys to go in this playthrough. I regret everything. Anyways, I find the feral ghouls I was looking for and start blasting, and they also start blasting. I'm tired of everything hurting. They kicked my ass a few times, but eventually I got them all down and completed another one of my challenges. And wiping out all those ghouls was worth it anyway, since it gave me another star cap. Hell yeah. Hey, it's been about 2 seconds. Let's see if there's anything around here that'll instantly kill me. Yeah, loads of robots, that'll do. I almost missed you, sentry bots. But taking the high ground and spamming them to death with Joshua Graham's pistol seems to do the job against most of them. But the rest aren't going down without a fight. Seems like that just keeps happening to me lately. Well, as with most things in life, the solution involves taking assloads of drugs and shooting everything in sight. At least that's what my dad always taught me. And my reward for all of this is a unique Tesla cannon that I can't even use. Nice. At least I know where this is for the soldier playthrough now. This counts as a cow mangler. Next, I do my best to rescue some slaves, and this guy is so gracious towards my gesture that he just fucking kills me. I make sure to return the favor after I get the experience from the quest. I'm in Boulder City now, collecting some more star caps and enough Sunset Sarsaparilla bottles to shake a stick at so I can— Ah! Don't scare me like that. And I figure I may as well help out the NCR here, and somehow all of the great cons mysteriously died. I simply can't explain it. To further build up my NCR rep, I go to kill some ants in some unexplored areas, and those ants sure killed me quickly. Oh, I'm so stupid. That wasn't the ants that killed me. It was yet another Legion assassin squad. I'm such a knucklehead sometimes. These are easily the worst ones I've run into. They rip through me in mere seconds. Automatic weapons and my squishy flesh do not play nice together. Even the tried and true strategy of taking loads of drugs isn't helping. I soon discover that my powers of precognition are my only salvation. I know where they're coming from, and pepper them down with my 45 before they get a chance to turn me into Swiss cheese. And after that, the ants I came down here to kill in the first place are barely even a distraction. Extra limb damage for all those extra limbs. Now I only have 2 challenges left. with one of them being Deathclaw Pro Hunter and the other one being to kill the president. So it's off to Sloan. The first Deathclaw is actually surprisingly easy. The 45 takes it down to basically nothing as it runs towards me, and I'm able to finish it off with the 22 no problem. I'm sure the next 4 times will go just as smoothly. The second one actually does, thanks to the and stay back perk keeping him constantly downed, and whittled down into 22 range. Not quite as lucky with Deathclaw number 3. Oh yeah, and I didn't quick save. Let's do it again. Yee fucking haw. There's actually a pretty close shave with the second one this time, but number 3 goes about as smoothly as it can. Actually, number 4 goes as smoothly as it can because he gets stuck on a rock. Oh, New Vegas. And this final one is tricky since I have 2 chasing me at once, but I just managed to clutch it out, completing easily the hardest challenge. And then I wipe out the rest of the Deathclaws in the quarry. No sense leaving a job unfinished. That's perfectly good NCR rep lying around there. Given that I've long since upgraded my Sandman into a Boston Basher, I figure it's high time I visit the clinic to bump up my endurance a bit, so I don't instantly die during literally every single encounter. Now I don't have the health penalty anymore, so it checks out. Probably should have done that before I wiped out the quarry junction in hindsight. Anyway, that only leaves me with 2 tasks to complete. Find the star caps, and kill the President of the United States of America in Minecraft. I run into some more assassins who are just rocking out, and make my way towards Lake Mead, since I know there's lots of little locations scattered all over the area that are full of star caps. I end up in this situation along the way, so go ahead and make of that what you will. I make of it that I lived, bitch. After grabbing a couple more stars from the cap counterfeiting shack, I only need 10 more to complete my quest. I managed to find 2 in this abandoned little shack by the lake, another in a fishing shack. A skeleton flies off this mountain, which freaks me the fuck out, but he points me in the direction of another star, so I can't be too mad at him. And that only leaves 6 to go. On my travels, I finally end up finding enough fixer to help out the junkies and turn in that quest, as it's my understanding that chicks dig it when you help people get off of drugs. Chicks also dig it when you bug the lucky 38. Oh, that didn't last long. Well, it's 500 experience I'm not turning down for 30 seconds of work. In any case, I don't mind trying to sabotage House's operations, since I'm once again following in my father's footsteps and siding with Yes Man. I figured that Spy would be interested in Yes Man for the actual political implications of an independent Vegas, and Scout is doing it for the self-interested reasons of wanting to run the strip himself since he'd be frickin' awesome at it as far as he's concerned. Yes Man wants me to get to know all of the necessary factions. Got it, I read you loud and clear. Now you might be thinking, Fish, this is a bit murder hobo-y even for you, but do try to remember what Scout's response was to what time he should pick up a girl for dinner. I can absolutely buy him interpreting getting to know all these factions as wiping them all off the face of the earth. And that's exactly what I do to the White Gloves. Goodbye, White Glove Society. Goodbye, Sir Topham Hat. Also, during my genocide, I get another 2 star caps of drinking soda, so bonus. 4 to go. The Omertas and the delightful little gnome people they have guarding the casino end up being a bit tougher to get to know. Mostly because they actually have guns and those hurt. But after hearing that they're going to clip my ass and how that's some shit right there a couple 100 times, I managed to kill everyone. Okay, at least they're the Omertas. They deserved this. I wipe out some Cazadors on the way over to the Great Khans, and hey, remember that fire axe I was looking for in the pyro video? Here it is. I was so close too. Also, after leveling up survival a bit, I end up realizing that until now, I totally missed out on the Travel Light perk, which increases your movement speed if you're wearing light armor, which I decidedly am. If only I had that the entire time. By the time I reach Bonnie Springs, I only need 1 more star cap. And I can't have my shitty memory fail me here again. I know there has to be a star cap around here somewhere. I'm wrong. There's 2. I have the caps. Now I just need to finish up Yes Man's tasks and kill the president. The cons are next on the chopping block, and I do mean that quite literally. They don't really get a chance to put up much of a fight. A bunch of people spread out over a big canyon with lots of cover to hide behind is a lot less threatening than a hallway filled with submachine guns and buckshot. Up next is the boomers, and their barrage of missiles is not actually all that bad this time around thanks to some turbo. As in TF2, I like to go fast. It turns out murdering them as quickly as humanly possible helps me out, since they don't get enough distance to start pelting me with grenades. It's good to prove that even in a completely different game, Scout still counters demo. That only leaves 1 faction to go, the Brotherhood of Steel. Would you believe me if I told you they were a pain in the ass? Unsurprisingly, their Gauss rifles rip right through me, and I have to get very lucky with multiple critical headshots where all the pellets actually connect in order to kill them before that happens. Even knocking them down doesn't help me all that much because there's a lot of them and they have a massive range advantage against me. I try again and again and again. Then it's time for the tried and true method of trying to pull an Elvis and taking every drug under the sun. I actually forgot that atomic cocktails give you a resistance to energy weapons, and I'm able to last against their onslaught much longer than I did before. I'll have to remember that for the future. And on my next try, I'm actually able to clear out the first room, which is such a massive hurdle. I then do my best to lure out the guys in the second room back into the first, and the power of drugs and VATS makes headshots with the sawed-off way more consistent, and it manages to win me the day. But that kind of drained all my resources, and I think it's pretty safe to say I've gotten to know the Brotherhood at this point, so I go talk to House and watch the Securitron demo, and decide that now's as good a time as any to kill House and bring in Yes Man. Oh, I probably should have upgraded the Securitrons after I killed House. Oh well, hindsight rears its ugly head once again, and so does House before I cave it in with a baseball bat. Boink. But as I'm about to continue with the Yes Man quest line, I can't shake the feeling of leaving a job unfinished. Except Lonesome Road, that didn't count. So I head back to Hidden Valley to finish the Brotherhood once and for all. It's actually not as bad now that I've cleared out the guys up front. In fact, the biggest things that give me trouble are unsurprisingly the turrets. Damn TF2 consistency biting me in the ass again. But once those are dealt with, the rest of the bunker really isn't all that bad. It definitely gets easier the deeper you go. Most of the people on the second level aren't even wearing armor, and this is a really bad day for Paladin Harden to not be wearing his helmet. Clearly he thinks he's the main character and always needs to take his helmet off so you can see the actor's fucking face! But yeah, that's the Brotherhood taken care of. Now it's time for the finishing touches. I install Yes Man into the mainframe and head off to the dam to get to know the president. Killing the president is no big deal. Getting away with it afterwards, that's where things get a bit tougher. If I take out anyone around me, even if it's completely silent, he runs off. My only option is to use range to my advantage. I pop his head off from as far away as I can, and then blow away the only guy close to me and run like the Dickens. And with that, all of our GRA challenges are completed. Now it's time to go activate the Securitrons under the fort. So I head to Camp Searchlight and oh, right, they don't like me after the whole dead president thing. And the Legion doesn't like me after the whole, everything. I did all this in a bad order. But hey, that's 2 intelligence for you. I can't wait for Soldier. Oh, and who would have guessed that right as I'm making a beeline for Legion territory, I run into more Legion assassins. Great. My previous strategy doesn't work on these guys. So while they're distracted by an NCR soldier, I just run away like a scared little girl. A good scout's gotta know when to pick his fights. Anyway, wiping out the Legion at Cottonwood Cove isn't so hard. It's the fort I'm worried about. My welcoming party isn't so bad. I have people running from me in terror, that's good. But uphill is where all the problems lie. I'm basically surrounded on all sides, and their submachine guns rip through me a lot faster than I can do the same to them. But eventually, through the power of drugs and a lot of healing items, I'm able to muscle my way through. And while Caesar's guards are pretty threatening when they corner you inside of a tent, their power fists don't do a whole hell of a lot for them when you've got them running after you in a conga line. And as for Caesar himself, well, it's not quite a knife, but something still tells me that Dad would be proud. After that, it's a simple matter of infiltrating the bunker, blasting away all the robots and turrets, and activating the Securitron army. But just because I wiped out both of their headquarters doesn't mean I'm done with the Legion just yet. They have one more surprise for me on my way to the El Dorado substation, and these guys are actually shockingly easy to deal with. My pistol spam strategy works out great against them, and yeah, down they go. The guards at the substation don't put up a fight at all. Joshua Graham's pistol is just way too good. I'm so glad I'll get to use this thing again in at least one other playthrough. But yeah, that's the substation done. And now before the Battle of Hoover Dam, there's just one more thing to do. I head on down to the Sunset Sarsaparilla factory, prove to Festus that I've drunk enough sarsaparilla to contract that halitosis the silly old advisory warned about, and claim my prize. A little plastic sheriff badge, and a laser gun I can't even use. All that murder, those innocent people I killed, all that tooth decay, was it really worth it? Oh wait, there's a bunch of money in here too, score. Also, I'm taking all of the badges with me. All of them. I won. It's my prize. I am the sheriff here. Anyway, it's time for the Battle of Hoover Dam. Unsurprisingly, being the only guy who wore a t-shirt to the fight, I end up having a bit of trouble. That was my bad though, I thought it was Casual Friday. My Securitron buddy goes down very quickly, and I accidentally use a Stealth Boy while just trying to spam through a bunch of healing items. I guess I used a Bonk Atomic Punch here, it's close enough. It's not all that much of a help though, so I don't feel too bad about using it. As much as I love the And Stay Back perk, sometimes it really just doesn't. Even the tried and true take lots of drugs and spam pistol method doesn't always work out for me against their marksman carbines. Soon though, I'm able to fight my way into the dam and get Yes Man and the Securitron army ready to go. From there, it's smooth sailing into the Legot Camp where I finally confront Lanius. Drugs time, let's go! My first attempt doesn't go terribly, but the main issue is I'm just being overwhelmed by all of Lanius' guards, and my shotgun shoots too slow to stun them all in quick succession. This wouldn't be a problem if I had something like the Riot shotgun, but I don't. This is largely the case with Take 2 as well. I keep getting routed by this asshole shooting from the top of a cliff, while I have 7 guys chasing me with melee, so it's not like I can stop to pistol him down before he gets shredded. After several attempts, I managed to get him down to his second phase, and even gun him down with the gun of the Legot before him, but die immediately after to a swarm of goons. This happens several times until my final attempt, where I get way luckier with knockdowns, watch this guy ascend to heaven itself, use a bit of turbo to rack up even more damage since in TF2 I like to go fast, and send Lanius into his second phase as I down even more drugs, knocking him down into a state of helplessness and finishing him off with the gun that started this whole journey. That still left his goons, but with the added damage threshold protection of Nuka-Cola Quantum and several more knockdowns from my scattergun, I managed to wipe them all out. After everything, it turns out soda really was the answer to all of my problems. I confront General Oliver in Blue Vision, the Securitrons turn him to dust, and I prove that you can beat Fallout New Vegas as the Scout from TF2, with quite a bit of difficulty. This was a surprisingly challenging playthrough. I thought that with the shotgun perks I'd be able to tear through the enemies a lot more, but they put up a hell of a fight, and I wasn't quite the glass cannon I had expected to be. That being said, a lot of the weapons I used turned out to be really fun. I was really happy to get a lot of use out of Joshua Graham's pistol, and the sawed-off shotgun especially turned out to be a lot of fun. Let me know what class you want to see me beat the game as next, and I have a couple of plans for some new Vegas playthroughs as characters from outside of TF2, and maybe even some challenge runs in other games. So I'll see you all next time.